As the cold November wind howls outside, the world seems to grow quieter, and shadows stretch longer across the frozen ground. Winter has always been a season of mystery and unease, where the darkness arrives early and the silence feels heavy with secrets. In this chilling atmosphere, true horror stories take on a new edge, blending real-life fear with the stark isolation of winter nights. From blizzards that trap unsuspecting travelers to eerie encounters in snowbound cabins, these tales remind us that the cold can conceal more than just ice and snow. Tonight, we journey into the heart of winter's most unsettling legends, where every creak and whisper could be the start of something terrifying. Prepare yourself for a collection of stories that capture the haunting spirit of the season, perfect for a cold November night. Winter settings in horror narratives evoke a distinct sense of isolation and vulnerability. The cold, barren landscapes and long, dark nights amplify feelings of dread, making characters seem even more cut off from help or escape. Snow muffles sound and obscures vision, creating an eerie quiet that heightens suspense. The psychological impact of winter is profound. The relentless chill and bleakness can mirror a character's internal struggles, intensifying fear and despair. Stories set during blizzards or in remote cabins often use the environment as a silent antagonist, pushing characters to their limits. This unique atmosphere transforms familiar surroundings into something menacing, making winter a powerful backdrop for horror tales. Winter has long been a backdrop for chilling tales, with real-life horror stories set during the coldest months, captivating audiences year after year. The stark isolation of snowy landscapes and the unpredictability of winter storms create a natural atmosphere of suspense and vulnerability. Historical events like the schoolhouse blizzard of 1888, which claimed hundreds of lives, serve as haunting reminders of nature's power and the fragility of human life. Modern storytellers, such as Mr. Nightmare, continue to share disturbing true accounts of winter terror, blending recent experiences with classic legends. Whether it's a group of friends recounting eerie encounters in a cabin, or survivors recalling harrowing blizzards, these stories tap into universal fears of darkness, cold, and the unknown. For listeners, the combination of real events and atmospheric settings makes winter horror stories especially compelling, offering a spine-tingling escape perfect for cold November nights. As the snowstorm intensified, a family found themselves isolated in their remote cabin, miles away from the nearest neighbor. The wind howled relentlessly, rattling the windows and burying the world outside in a thick, white silence. But as night fell, the quiet was broken by strange noises coming from the darkness beyond the walls. Soft footsteps crunching in the snow, and faint whispers that seemed to drift through the icy air. Doors creaked open on their own, and objects shifted mysteriously, leaving the family unnerved and searching for explanations. With each passing hour, the sense of unease grew, as if something unseen was lurking just beyond the reach of the lantern's glow. Trapped by the blizzard, they could do nothing but wait and hope that the storm, and whatever haunted their cabin, would pass by morning. On a frigid winter afternoon, a group of friends set out for a hike through the snow-covered woods, eager to enjoy the quiet beauty of the season. As dusk settled and the forest grew eerily silent, they noticed a shadowy figure lurking among the trees, its movements barely visible through the swirling snow. At first, they dismissed it as a trick of the light, but the figure seemed to follow them, always just out of reach. Unease turned to fear as strange noises echoed through the woods, and the friends realized they were not alone. Their attempts to retrace their steps only led them deeper into the forest, where the presence felt increasingly menacing. By the time they finally stumbled back to safety, the group was shaken, each haunted by the memory of the silent watcher in the winter darkness. As the snowstorm intensified, a lone traveler found himself desperate for shelter. Stumbling upon an old, abandoned winter lodge, he decided to take refuge inside, hoping to wait out the blizzard. The silence was unsettling, broken only by the howling wind and the creaking of the building's aging timbers. As night fell, strange noises echoed through the empty halls, footsteps that didn't belong to him, and whispers that seemed to come from the shadows. Doors opened and closed on their own, and icy drafts swept through rooms that should have been sealed tight. The traveler soon realized he was not alone. The lodge harbored restless spirits, drawn to the living by the cold and isolation. What began as a search for safety quickly turned into a chilling encounter with the supernatural, leaving the traveler questioning whether he would ever escape the haunted lodge's grasp. In the depths of winter, a remote schoolhouse stood silent against the relentless wind and snow. Inspired by the infamous schoolhouse blizzard of 1888, this story recalls the terror faced by teachers and children as a sudden violent storm descended upon the Great Plains. As the blizzard raged outside, visibility vanished and temperatures plummeted, trapping everyone inside with dwindling hope. The howling wind seemed to carry distant voices, echoing through the wooden walls and chilling the hearts of those huddled together. Some claimed to hear footsteps in the empty halls, while others saw fleeting shadows moving just beyond the frosted windows. With each passing hour, fear grew that something more than the storm was lurking in the darkness. The haunting of the snowbound schoolhouse remains a chilling reminder of nature's fury and the mysteries that emerge when isolation and desperation take hold. On a bitterly cold evening, a lone figure ventured onto the frozen surface of a secluded lake. The ice groaned beneath each step, as if protesting the intrusion. Suddenly, faint voices seemed to rise from beneath the glassy expanse, whispering fragments of old secrets and forgotten tragedies. The air grew heavy with an inexplicable sense of dread, and the temperature seemed to drop even further. As the wind howled across the lake, the visitor glimpsed shadowy shapes moving just below the ice, their forms distorted and elusive. It was as if the lake itself was haunted by memories of those who had vanished in winters past, their stories forever trapped beneath the frozen surface. During a fierce winter storm, locals have reported sightings of a mysterious spectral figure drifting silently through the snow-covered streets, cloaked in a tattered coat and almost translucent against the swirling flurries. This apparition is said to appear only when the wind howls and visibility is at its worst. Witnesses describe an overwhelming sense of unease as the figure glides past, leaving no footprints in the fresh snow. Some believe the ghost is the restless spirit of a traveler lost to the storm many years ago, forever searching for shelter. Others claim the apparition serves as a warning to those who venture out in dangerous weather. Despite numerous accounts, the true identity and origin of the spectral wanderer remain shrouded in mystery, fueling chilling tales each winter season. As the snowstorm intensified outside, the family huddled together in the dimly lit rooms of their ancestral home. With each passing hour, the wind howled louder, rattling the old windows and casting eerie shadows across the walls. Exploring the house to pass the time, they stumbled upon a hidden door behind a faded tapestry. Inside, they found dusty journals and faded photographs, revealing long-buried secrets about their ancestors, stories of betrayal, mysterious disappearances, and whispered warnings. The atmosphere grew heavier with each discovery, and the sense of unease became palpable. That night, the family realized that some mysteries are best left undisturbed, especially when the cold darkness outside seems to seep into the very heart of the home. Deep in the heart of the frozen wilderness, a group of friends found themselves battling not just the elements, but something far more sinister. As temperatures plummeted and snow blanketed their surroundings, an unsettling presence began to make itself known. Shadows flickered at the edge of their vision, and strange noises echoed through the trees, growing louder each night. Supplies dwindled, and the group's nerves frayed as the sense of being watched intensified. With each passing hour, the unknown entity seemed to draw closer, testing their resolve and unity. Forced to rely on their instincts and each other, the group faced a chilling ordeal, unsure if they would ever escape the icy grip of the wilderness or the relentless force that hunted them. During one of the harshest snowstorms in recent memory, a group of travelers vanished without a trace along a remote mountain pass. Search teams braved the freezing winds and blinding snowfall, but all they found were scattered belongings and a series of cryptic clues etched into the ice. Messages carved in hurried handwriting hinted at something watching from the shadows, and footprints seemed to appear and disappear abruptly in the drifts. Despite exhaustive efforts, no bodies were ever recovered, and the mystery of their disappearance remains unsolved. Locals still whisper about the incident, wondering what force could have claimed the travelers and left behind such chilling evidence. Winter horror stories often draw on powerful themes that evoke a sense of unease and vulnerability. Isolation is a recurring motif, with characters frequently stranded in remote cabins or snowbound towns, cut off from help and forced to confront their fears alone. The pervasive darkness of long winter nights amplifies the tension, as limited visibility heightens the threat of unseen dangers lurking just beyond the light. The unknown also plays a significant role, whether it's mysterious figures appearing in blizzards, supernatural forces awakened by the cold, or the unpredictability of nature itself. These elements combine to create an atmosphere where ordinary settings become ominous, and the familiar transforms into something unsettling. Through these themes, winter horror stories capture the chilling essence of the season, turning its beauty into a backdrop for terror. Winter's psychological impact is profound, often amplifying feelings of isolation and vulnerability. The long, dark nights and biting cold can heighten anxiety, making even familiar surroundings seem menacing. In horror storytelling, these elements are used to intensify suspense and dread, as characters face not only external threats, but also the oppressive atmosphere of the season. The silence of snow-covered landscapes can create a sense of eerie stillness, while blizzards and storms cut off escape routes, deepening the sense of entrapment. For many, winter evokes memories of being confined indoors, which can lead to a heightened awareness of every creak and shadow. These psychological effects make winter an ideal backdrop for horror, where fear is magnified by both the environment and the mind's response to it. Mr. Nightmare's latest release, 3 disturbing true winter horror stories, has quickly made waves within the horror storytelling community. Debuting in January 2025, this album presents 3 chilling narratives, each set against the backdrop of winter's unforgiving cold. The stories delve into real-life accounts of terror, amplifying the sense of isolation and vulnerability that often accompanies the season. By focusing on true events, Mr. Nightmare elevates the genre, blending authenticity with suspense. The album's availability on major platforms like Apple Music has broadened its reach, drawing in both longtime fans and newcomers. Its success highlights a growing appetite for winter-themed horror, inspiring other creators to explore similar themes and settings. Mort's animated compilation, featuring 9 true winter horror stories, has captured the attention of horror enthusiasts on YouTube. Each tale is brought to life through vivid animation, enhancing the chilling atmosphere and immersing viewers in real-life accounts of winter terror. The video stands out for its blend of storytelling and visual artistry, making the unsettling experiences even more memorable. Since its release, the compilation has garnered significant views and engagement, reflecting its popularity among fans of the genre. The combination of authentic narratives and creative animation has helped Mort's work become a go-to choice for those seeking spine-tingling stories during the colder months. Released in 1979, Screams of a Winter Night stands as a notable entry in the realm of winter-themed horror anthologies. The film centers on a group of college students who gather in a remote cabin, sharing chilling tales as a winter storm rages outside. Its eerie atmosphere and layered storytelling helped set the tone for future anthology horror films, especially those set against the backdrop of cold, isolating environments. The movie's blend of urban legends and supernatural elements resonated with audiences, inspiring later works to explore similar themes. Over the years, Screams of a Winter Night has gained a cult following, with its extended cut offering even more unsettling content. Its legacy continues to influence both filmmakers and writers seeking to capture the unique terror of winter nights. Dan Simmons' novel A Winter Haunting masterfully captures the eerie stillness and lurking dread of winter. The story follows Dale Stewart as he returns to his childhood town of Elm Haven, Illinois, seeking closure from past traumas. As winter's grip tightens, Dale finds himself confronted by unsettling supernatural occurrences that blur the line between memory and reality. The snow-covered landscape becomes a character in itself, amplifying the sense of isolation and vulnerability. Simmons weaves psychological suspense with ghostly phenomena, creating an atmosphere thick with tension. Through vivid descriptions and a slow-building sense of dread, A Winter Haunting stands out as a chilling exploration of both human fear and the supernatural. On January 12, 1888, the Great Plains were struck by the sudden and devastating schoolhouse blizzard, also known as the Children's Blizzard. Without warning, temperatures plummeted and fierce winds swept across the region, trapping hundreds of school children and teachers in rural schoolhouses. Many attempted to find safety, but the blinding snow and bitter cold claimed the lives of approximately 235 people. The tragedy left a lasting impact on communities and became a chilling reminder of the unpredictability of winter. Over time, the schoolhouse blizzard has inspired countless stories and accounts, weaving its legacy into the fabric of winter horror storytelling. Its real-life terror continues to resonate, serving as a haunting backdrop for tales of survival and loss during the harshest months of the year. Winter horror stories often tread a fine line between fiction and reality, drawing upon the season's natural isolation and unpredictability. Classic fictional tales, like those found in Stephen King's The Shining or Dan Simmons' A Winter Haunting, use blizzards and remote settings to amplify psychological terror and supernatural threats. Yet, real-life events, such as the schoolhouse blizzard of 1888, remind us that nature itself can be as chilling as any imagined monster, with sudden storms and tragic outcomes that linger in memory. Recent releases, including Mr. Nightmare's true winter horror narratives and animated adaptations on YouTube, further blur these boundaries by presenting real accounts with the suspense and atmosphere of fiction. Whether rooted in fact or fantasy, winter horror stories tap into universal fears of darkness, isolation, and the unknown, making it difficult to distinguish where reality ends and imagination begins. Stephen King's The Shining stands as a classic example of how winter isolation can intensify horror. Set in the remote Overlook Hotel, the story unfolds as a family becomes trapped by a relentless blizzard, cut off from the outside world. The snowbound setting amplifies feelings of vulnerability and claustrophobia, allowing supernatural forces and personal demons to take hold. King's masterful use of the cold, desolate landscape turns the hotel into a character itself, heightening the sense of dread. The isolation not only threatens the characters physically, but also erodes their mental stability, making every shadow and echo more menacing. Through this chilling environment, The Shining explores how winter's silence and solitude can become the perfect breeding ground for terror. Ryan Moreland's Dead of Winter immerses readers in a chilling world where snow blankets the landscape, isolating characters from the outside world. Set in a remote settlement, the story unfolds as a series of mysterious and supernatural events begin to plague the community. The relentless cold and blizzards amplify the sense of dread, making escape nearly impossible. At the heart of the novel lies a demonic mystery, with ancient evil forces lurking beneath the frozen surface. As the characters confront both the harsh elements and the sinister presence, the line between reality and nightmare blurs. The snowbound setting not only heightens the suspense, but also serves as a metaphor for the characters' growing sense of entrapment and fear. Winter has long been a backdrop for chilling tales, and some of the most unsettling stories remain hidden from the mainstream. Articles such as 7 Scary Stories for Cold Winter Nights bring attention to these lesser-known narratives, each set against the stark, isolating cold of the season. Among them are stories of haunted cabins, mysterious disappearances during blizzards, and supernatural encounters that unfold when the world is blanketed in snow. These tales often draw on the unique atmosphere of winter, where darkness falls early and silence amplifies every creak and whisper. By exploring these obscure accounts, readers discover that the cold months are fertile ground for horror, with each story offering a fresh perspective on fear and survival. Whether based on true events or crafted from imagination, these winter horror stories serve as a reminder that the season's beauty can quickly turn ominous. Animation and visual storytelling play a crucial role in amplifying the fear factor of winter horror stories. Through carefully crafted imagery, animators can evoke the chilling isolation of snow-covered landscapes and the lurking dangers hidden within. Visual elements such as flickering candlelight, shadowy figures, and blizzard-stricken scenes help immerse viewers in an atmosphere of suspense and unease. Animated adaptations, like those featured in online compilations, bring true winter horror tales to life, making the supernatural and psychological threats feel more immediate. The use of color, Pacing and perspective further intensifies the emotional impact, allowing audiences to experience fear in a visceral way. By combining narrative with striking visuals, animation transforms ordinary winter nights into unforgettable journeys through terror. Historical events have long served as a wellspring for winter horror stories, shaping the themes and atmosphere of modern adaptations. The infamous schoolhouse blizzard of 1888, for example, has inspired chilling accounts of survival and supernatural encounters amid sudden deadly storms. Such real-life tragedies evoke feelings of isolation and vulnerability, elements often echoed in contemporary winter horror narratives. Filmmakers and authors draw upon these events to create settings where nature itself becomes a menacing force, amplifying suspense and fear. By weaving historical details into their stories, creators connect audiences to the past while reimagining its terrors for new generations. This blend of fact and fiction ensures that winter horror remains both relevant and deeply unsettling, resonating with those who seek thrills on cold, dark nights. Cold and darkness have long been intertwined with feelings of unease and fear, especially in the realm of horror. As temperatures drop and daylight fades, our senses become more alert, amplifying even the smallest sounds or movements. The isolation and vulnerability that often accompany winter nights can intensify psychological dread, making ordinary environments seem menacing. Darkness obscures what lies ahead, while the chill in the air can evoke a primal response, reminding us of our fragility. These elements combine to create an atmosphere where anxiety thrives, and the boundaries between reality and imagination blur. In horror stories, the interplay of cold and darkness often serves as a catalyst for suspense, heightening the emotional impact of each chilling moment. Many listeners describe winter horror stories as uniquely chilling, with the cold and isolation amplifying the sense of dread. Some recount sleepless nights after hearing tales of blizzards and haunted cabins, noting how the stories linger in their minds long after the final twist. Fans of Mr. Nightmare's recent winter horror release mention the immersive atmosphere and unsettling realism that make these narratives especially memorable. Others share that animated adaptations, like those found on YouTube, add a visual layer that heightens their fear and fascination. Testimonials often highlight how these stories become a seasonal tradition, bringing friends and family together to experience the thrill of winter's darkness. For some, the historical accounts, such as the schoolhouse blizzard, evoke a deeper appreciation for the dangers and mysteries of winter. Overall, audience reactions reveal that winter horror stories offer a captivating blend of suspense, nostalgia, and genuine fright. As the temperature drops and darkness settles in, enjoying winter horror stories can be a thrilling way to spend a cold night. To make the experience both safe and comfortable, start by creating a cozy environment. Wrap yourself in a warm blanket and keep a hot beverage nearby. Make sure your space is well lit if you're easily startled, or dim the lights for a more immersive atmosphere. If you're listening to narrated tales or watching animated adaptations, use headphones for enhanced sound quality, but keep the volume at a comfortable level. Remember to take breaks if the stories become too intense, and avoid consuming horror content right before bed if you're prone to nightmares. Most importantly, ensure your home is secure and all doors and windows are locked, so you can fully relax and enjoy the chilling tales without worry.